Theories are flying and fans are buzzing after the latest season of Squid Games. With Jeong back in the field, determined to bring down the deadly games, Season 2 has taken things up a notch, and fans like us are picking apart every detail to uncover hidden secrets. But today, we're focusing on two specific characters, Jung and Min-soo. Would they be hiding something far darker than their debt? Some fans think that these two might secretly be VIPs playing a dangerous game of their own. So let's dive into these two suspicious characters. Before we go into our explanation, we have a very small request. If you like our content, please support us by subscribing to our channel. This is a small click for you, but for us it means an awful lot. Thank you, and let's begin.
Okay, everyone, let's go around and do a full head count.
Jung, the calculated enigma. Player 100 Jung is a brash and unlikable man who has a massive debt of 10 billion won, which comes to approximately $7 million. While most of the participants of the games are in debt and struggling financially, 10 billion won is nearly a quarter of the promised prize money for winning the games and is a humongous amount. Clearly, someone who is under this kind of debt is not a common man, because it is next to unfathomable for a normal person to accumulate a debt this massive. He was one of the few players whose debt was announced publicly, and we see how most of the other players were shocked at this. Yet taking the moment to gloat and proudly talk about how common people don't just accumulate a debt this high and don't get loans amounting to such an obscene amount either. It's a very obvious attempt on his part to put importance on himself and place himself on a pedestal. Some fan theories have specifically said that the sheer sum of debt is proof of player 100 being an undercover VIP. Now, there can be two reasons why Jung is pretending to be a player in the game if he is really a VIP. One reason could be that he used to be filthy rich and had lost his fortune in some way, which would explain his debt, and has entered the games to regain his financial status. This is believable enough because no matter how rich someone is, their assets are always at a risk of being depleted through a variety of means. The other reason that can explain his participation in the games could be that he is just in it for the sake of it. Rich people are funny that way. They become so numbed by the fame and power that money brings them that they happen to become willing to do anything just to feel a bit of stimulation. We know that the VIPs observe the events of the games, but it is possible that one of them did not feel excited enough just by watching and observing the games and had to infiltrate the ranks of the participants to truly feel the thrill. And to us, that is a really horrible thing to do, considering the ones around you are playing a literal game of life or death. But hey, when you have money beyond your wildest dreams, it changes you as a person. One of the reasons why so many fans believe that Jung is an undercover VIP is because of his general distaste for those around him and his persistence in continuing the game no matter the cost. He bullies and intimidates other players, particularly in the X team, and has a certain evil charisma that allows people to rally around him and stick to the O team. His insistence on letting the games go on could also be because of the two reasons we have highlighted above. He is either desperate to win the money and gain back his power and prestige, or he just does not want the entertainment to stop. When faced with the death of people over their failure to win the games, any rational person would be faced with dilemma of continuing the game for personal gain versus stopping it for the greater good and to prevent more deaths. The fact that player 100 was not bothered in the slightest and continuously insisted on letting the games go on is quite suspicious and can point to the fact that he knows he will not be targeted in the course of the game since he is a VIP. Even considering he's actually in debt and is trying to gain his fortune back, he possesses a familiarity with the overall setup of the game that gives him a distinct advantage over every other player except maybe Jeong. This can explain his calm demeanor, indifference to the deaths of other players, and insistence on continuing the game. Considering the evidence fans have pointed out so far, it is indeed conceivable for Jung to be a VIP in reality who is participating in the game for unknown reasons. He is also currently alive, which raises further suspicion and sets the stage for the truth about him to come out in the next season.
Player 401. End of list.
Min-soo, the mystery beneath the mask. If you're thinking that player 100 is the only one that's fishy, you're in for a surprise. Player 125, Park Min-soo, initially appears as a meek and weak participant who has made it this far in the game through sheer luck. There is not a lot known about how he came into the game, except that he fell prey to a housing scam and was then approached by a recruiter. The exact amount of his debt is not known, unlike Im Jung-dae's case. He does not stand out much as a character during the second season. He is shown to be cowardly at times, even if he has good intentions at heart, and he is also very prone to anxiety. He lacks confidence and prefers to not stand out. On the surface, it seems that the nature of the games has impacted him to such an extent that he only cares about survival at this point and does not bother about the prize money. This is also seen when he initially votes to end the games but is later pressured into voting in favor of continuing the game. He seems genuinely traumatized not just by his past experience but also by the atmosphere of death and betrayal around him. And all of this is fine. It makes for a normal participant, but fans have spotted clues to suggest he might actually be a VIP in disguise. Crazy, right? Sure, he doesn't seem like the type, but let's not forget what Squid Game has taught us. Appearances can be deceiving. Remember in Season 1 when Jeong unknowingly teamed up with the creator of the games? Or in Season 2 when he crossed paths with the frontman? With that in mind, could Min-soo also be hiding a shocking truth? Well, let's break it down. All of the VIPs portrayed earlier wore golden masks to keep their real identities hidden. However, most of them seem to speak with foreign accents, except VIP number 3, who seemed to have a slight East Asian accent. It so happens that VIP 3 is portrayed by an actor named Lee David, and guess who else in the cast of the show is played by an actor with the same name? Oh, you got that right. Min-soo is also played by Lee David. It is funny because we cannot exactly link the two people as the same right away, because even though the actor who plays VIP 3 has the same name, we have not actually seen VIP 3's face yet. For all we know, they can be two distinct people who just share the same name. After all, Lee is one of the most common surnames in South Korea. However, fans are not quite convinced, especially after the shock factor received at the end of Season 1. When the most unbelievable thing happened, they are inclined to believe that Min-soo is simply making up an act and pretending to be a player in the game, when he is in reality none other than VIP number 3. This would actually be a pretty huge revelation if it indeed happens to be true, because it would prove once again that rich people will do anything for their entertainment. Min-soo is a figure who invokes pity from most people and appears very easy to pick on. It is completely possible that he consciously keeps himself in the shadows of others to not draw unwanted attention towards himself and live his double life to the best extent. However, what could be his motives for doing something like this? It could be just boredom, since it is possible that the VIPs want a more immersive experience of the games, and that can only be possible when one of them actually participates in the guise of a normal person. As we've said before, money fundamentally changes people, and so their idea of having fun also undergoes a change. People who have more money than they can spend can already access all the pleasures and luxuries money can buy, so they turn to more extreme forms of entertainment. So far, this seems to be the only possible explanation for Min-soo joining the game as a player if he is truly a VIP in reality. All this considered, there are some fans who believe this is just a theory and that Min-soo is actually simply a normal person who was recruited into the game. It is completely possible for two actors to share the same name, and it has also been noticed that VIP number 3 speaks in a much deeper and more mature voice than Min-soo. The overall build and physique of VIP 3 also seems to be different from Min-soo. Of course, even this is nothing but conjecture, because we know that the show can go in basically any direction. For now, however, the theory that Min-soo is a VIP holds quite some bit of steam, and it remains to be seen whether this is indeed true.
We appreciate your cooperation.
Marvelous verdict. Im Jung-dae and Park Min-soo couldn't be more different. One is bold and brash, the other quiet and unassuming. But that's what makes the theories around them so fascinating. Are they just regular players trying to survive, or could one of them secretly be a VIP in disguise? So far, there's no clear interaction between the two, which only adds to the mystery. And honestly, it could even be someone else entirely, hiding in plain sight. If this theory turns out to be true, we cannot imagine how Jeong will deal with the fact that he is surrounded by more enemies than he knows. Do you think that Im Jung-dae and Min-soo can flip the script in the next season? Will we finally get to know who is the real VIP pretending to be a player, and who has taken over the helm of holding the games now? Will Jeong be successful in his mission to taking down the games for good, or will mindless greed prevail? Keep your eyes on Netflix and our channel to know the answers, and we'll be back with more Squid Game related content very soon. If you liked our content, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to us if you haven't already. Have a good one and be safe. Thanks, everyone.